Today's lesson is 8.5 areas of parallelograms. And we've talked about areas of rectangles already, so it's a lot the same as that. The base of a parallelogram is the bottom side. The height, of course, is the distance between the two parallel sides. And the height is always a perpendicular distance to the base. I'm just going to read this quick. It's either pair of parallel sides of parallelogram are called the bases of a parallelogram. The shortest distance between the bases of a parallelogram is called the height. The segment that represents the height is perpendicular to the bases. A height can be inside the parallelogram. So it can be between there, inside, or it could also be outside if you extended that base out, not the length of that extended out, just extend it out so you know where the perpendicular is. So the area of a parallelogram is exactly the same as the area of a rectangle. Base times height or length times width. Find the area of the parallelogram. Base is 9, width is, or height is 6. So we've got 9 times 6 equals 54. Of course, we need to be able to label, and that is meters squared. So when you label area, you always have to label appropriately. Find the height of the parallelogram. This time I'm going to use the formula, A equals B times H. If I plug in what I know 78 is equal to 12 times H. So to solve for H, we would divide by 12. So H is equal to, 12 goes into there, 76.5 times, 6.5 feet, because height is not feet squared, it's just feet. Okay, take a minute and look through this, try these problems, and we will come back and see how you do. Okay, welcome back. We have the base of this and the height of this, so the area of number 1 is 8 times 12, which is 96 yards squared. Number 2, the area is 7 times 11, which is 77 millimeters squared. 14 times 14, area equals, which is 196 feet squared. This time we've got 72 is equal to 12 times H, so H is equal to 6 inches. 30 is equal to 5 times the base, so the base is 6 meters. Divide both sides by 5. 28 is equal to 7 times H, so H is equal to 4 centimeters. Hopefully you got those right. The area of a rhombus. A rhombus is a parallelogram. However, when you are given the diagonals of a rhombus, the diagonals of a rhombus, of course, are the distances between the vertices. So you've got this distance right here is D2. This distance right here is D1. So when you know the diagonals of the distances of the diagonals, you multiply those diagonals, so D1 times D2, but then you take that product and divide it by 2. So the area is 1/2 D1 times D2. You could still use, and this is just kind of talking about why that works that way, so look at that so you understand it. You'll remember things a lot better if you do that. But this just, you know, it's a parallelogram, so it talks about how you can derive it. Okay, so here we have the area is equal to 1/2 d1 times d2. Area is equal to 1/2 times, one of the diagonals is 14, one of them is 10. You can multiply this first and get 140 divided by 2 and get 70, or you can multiply 1/2 times 14 and get 7. 7 times 10 is 70. So either way, you should get 70 inches squared. This one, we know that the diagonals bisect each other, so we have to add up the total here, which is 12 and 18. So the area is equal to 1/2 of 12 times 18. We could take half of one and then multiply that times the other. So we get half of 12 is 6. 6 times 18. Let's see, 6 times 18 is 108 meters squared. And that's it. So make sure that you understand how the formulas work for both parallelograms and rhombuses.